Hello and welcome back to the Culture Wave Media Network. It is I, your host today, Vinny Albano. I am joined with my co-host, Mark Jacobino.
What's up, Vinny? Hey, everyone.
Hello, hello. I'm very excited to talk about episode 10, 11, and 12 of Dandadan Season 2. This is the finale. It is over. Let's just jump right into it. We have a little mini arc here. A Kaiju supernatural with a new friend, a Mr. Kinta, is that his?
Kinta, I think his name is.
Let's just dive right into the broad thoughts.
First, I want to ask.
Yes.
Did you know that there would be a Kaiju Gundam thing? Because the last time I was here, you predicted, you're like, it would be so crazy if they all got together and were in like a mech suit together or something. And I'm watching this episode, and I'm like, Vinny had to have known something. What the hell? Like, no way he guessed this.
No, I swear to God.
You didn't see any of it?
I swear to God. Like, I did not know.
What gave you, what even like hinted at?
I forget what our discussion was. I feel like this is in the vein of my prediction.
Yeah.
What I was thinking was more of like almost like a fusion dance or something like that. I forget what we were talking about. We were just talking about like superpower, like how they all have superpowers now and what that will look like as a team. I swear to God, I did not.
Hey, Vinny, I'm not.
Yeah. But I liked. Dude, the God we're speaking of.
Yeah, did you know? Were you sitting there like when they started building the mech? Were you like, no way?
I'm gonna be real. I forgot I made that prediction until you just brought it up now.
Oh,
so I was sitting there and I was like, no way, in the way of like, no way, this is like, this is rad. But like, not in the way of, because I forgot about that. But now that you mention it,
it was the first thing I thought of, Vinny. Yeah, these last 3 episodes, I'll be honest, I was not drawn into as much. I thought the new character, Kinta, or whatever his name is, that trope is not my favorite trope, not one I'm drawn to. I know that a lot of characters start out in a place where they're annoying or they're unlikable, and then they build up to be so unlikable. So not saying that can't happen with this character, but personally, like, he's a big part of these 3 episodes, and I just never really cared about him. I found him annoying. So that was really the thing that drove me not being that interested. Yeah, overall it just turned into, a kaiju fight, which is fine. It's cool, but nothing about it really hooked me like kind of the middle part of this season when we got a lot of character growth. I felt like these last 3 episodes were kind of more focused on the fight and less on the characters. I know some people would agree, but that's just kind of how I felt. And then as we talked about off camera, I thought the ending again, Dandadan just has these abrupt endings to season. This one felt better than season 1, no doubt, but it still felt abrupt. I didn't really even know this was the season finale until the credits rolled, and I was like, oh, okay, but now we gotta wait for more. It's an interesting cliffhanger, but yeah, that's kind of what I took away from these 3 episodes.
I definitely was more positive, but I do agree with you actually. For me, I enjoyed these 3 episodes. However, Kinta as a character, I enjoyed the humor at first. I liked the little montage of him getting ready and whatnot and him dancing and the little subtle character animation of how you see that he's confident, and then as he walks into school, his confidence kind of like complete. That's what gives the character humanity, and the humor was funny at first. However, by the end of these 3 episodes, I still don't really care for him as much as I do with Aira, Jiji, Momo, and Okarun, because that is the most humanity we get from him of like, oh yeah, he's kind of nerdy and he gets bullied, but that's really it. I did really enjoy the fight though. The animation, I mean, week by week is so good. And I thought, I'm a big Kaiju fan, super big Godzilla fan. It's literally just Godzilla. And I just thought all the action was really, really cool. Animation looked great. Everything there, I just can't complain. It's week by week the same compliments.
And they even like had a tribute to like the Godzilla music. Like his motif is very close to Godzilla. So these episodes are definitely tailor-made for you because they have the Godzilla aspect, and they also the aspect that we talked about earlier. I think for me, this show is strongest when it's focusing on those 4 main characters. And I think, like you kind of said with Kinta, like, we don't feel as strong a connection with him as we did with the other 4 right off the bat. Like, I think the other 4 made an impact immediately, and we immediately cared about them, and we understood them. I know Aira was a little longer of a process, but then we get that, like, Silky episode, which is so, powerful. With him, we get that hint, at the end when he's in the mech fighting. We see people bullying him because he likes mechs and, like, nerdy stuff. And he embraces that. He's like, I love it, and that's all that matters. And that's a nice sentiment. But again, it's not something where I'm like, I'm glad that now he's taking up screen time with our other 4 main characters. I really like the dynamic that they had, and now adding another character to that mix, I think we don't know where it goes, but it just feels a bit more muddied, and we don't really get a continuation of the story that I thought we would. We're still looking for Okarun's ball, and it's there, and then it kind of gets lost in this kaiju battle, and now we have an alien. So it's like a real like humanoid alien. So it's like, oh, okay, now this is a whole thing that we're gonna get into, plus the subterraneans. I just, I was hoping this season by the end would be like a little more focused, and I feel like the scope has only gotten bigger. And for some people, that's good. For me, it just didn't hit the mark.
This is a 5th addition, possibly, to the crew, and then the alien now, who might be a 6th addition, because obviously she's going to be playing a big part with the ending of her kissing Okarun. So that's where my brain goes in the similar path of what you said. Is this going to become too bloated? Like, how many characters can we have on the crew at once? And we have all the side characters too. We have
Mako,
yep, and Mantis Shrimp and all them, right? Scared that it becomes too bloated. I am optimistic.
My favorite part of these episodes is that final moment with the alien and the kiss, and Momo being just like devastated that she's seeing, this random girl kissing someone that she finally thought she was going to have like a breakthrough with, like in their relationship. They still have that nervousness around each other, but like deep down they both like each other. Aira is like joking on the side, like, oh, Okarun actually likes me, and it's a funny like fake love triangle. But now we have like an actual like moment of intimacy that she's seeing, and now it's like her whole world. She literally blows up the house with the nano stuff. And that was like a powerful moment for me, because this has been 2 seasons of Momo just like trying to get Okarun out of his shell, and now it's just like, no, like, who is this? Like, how is this happening?
I agree with you. I think, again, though, like you said, not to echo your point, but the show doesn't really have any falling action. Abruptly ends. There's like 2 sides to me. One side of me likes the idea that we're getting 12 episodes on a consistent basis. It's not a long wait. Like season 1 to season 2, it wasn't a long wait. It's maybe just simply a year.
Yeah.
And it was a really good, well animated 12 episodes for both seasons. So I like that, but at the same time, it's ending so abruptly. Obviously, it leaves us wanting more, but in a way that's just
not satisfying, I guess is the right way to put it. Yeah, I'm curious. Like, it feels like this is a trend with like modern anime. Like, even Chainsaw Man season 1, that's like a criticism that a lot of people have, that it kind of just like it's building up and then it kind of just stops. And I agree with that to a degree. But I'm curious if it's the adaptation of the source material, or if it's the source material that doesn't really provide like these very clean jumping off points between seasons, and they kind of are looking at the manga and they're like, I guess we just kind of have to cut here because that's what we have the budget for. So I haven't read Dandadan, and you have read Chainsaw Man, so I'm not sure what your thoughts would be. We're not talking about Chainsaw Man right now, but yeah. I'm curious if it's a manga issue or if it's a like budgetary animation thing where like, this is all we got. If we're going to do it, every year, this is what we can do, and this is the point where we have to cut it off. Like, and hopefully it's somewhat satisfying for people.
I don't really have much else to say because it's very broad. Like we talk about Dandadan week by week, and I feel like we have the same compliments for the show. It's not getting any worse when it comes to the filmmaking, the animation, and even the storytelling. Like, even though you didn't like this as much, it's still, I would assume it's still solid.
It is, yeah. It's still like entertaining as a shonen, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really have much else to say. It was fun, hype, cool.
Overall, season 2, I think in some aspects was better for me than season 1, but in other aspects, I think it wasn't. So I'm kind of like in the middle with season 2. I think there was some really great character work. Like we talked about, I think the middle of the season was super strong. Kind of building out the characters a lot more and having them have more interactions and growth together. I thought that was when Dandadan was kind of at its peak. And yeah, there's just been some kind of like missteps for me. Not like oh my gosh, this show sucks missteps, but more of just like, oh, I kind of wish they were still going down that other path, but they're going this way with it. So, yeah, that's all I got. I guess we gotta do scores.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what do you give Dandadan season 2 out of a 10?
Ooh, okay. What did I give Solo Leveling season 2? I think I gave it a 7.5. I would say this is like that. I would say this is a 7.5. Again, this is for me.
Yeah.
Because wacky, zany storytelling is usually not my lane. So like Dandadan Ori is behind the 8 ball with this type of storytelling, but I think it does it very well, so it's palatable for me. So like in that respect, it's a 7.5. But if someone said like whatever you might say, you might give it an 8 or an 8.5 because you enjoy that type of storytelling, I would totally get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a lot higher than.
Oh,
yeah. But just because my train of thought and my reasoning, let me just say my score.
Yeah,
I'm giving this a solid 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah. I also don't like to do decimal scores, so
Fair enough.
So I'm just a solid 9. That's how it is. 9 out of 10. My reasoning for that is because I recognize that season 1 is structurally better written. I think season 1 is a great introduction to a different world and a different cast of characters that we're not familiar with. I think season 2 has a lot of missteps structurally and writing-wise, but season 2 for me was overall a lot more creative in its action, in its animation. It really just stepped up the bar, not only filmmaking-wise, animation-wise, but moments with the characters. I feel maybe a complaint is that season 2 definitely lent more into each character's quirky joke. You know, every character has kind of a joke to them, and season 2 definitely repeated those jokes a lot. Which is a fault to it, but I still actually like this season a little bit more than season 1 because action was just overall so much better. The animation was better. It was just so much more creative to me.
Yeah.
And Jiji and everything with Evil Eye was him as a new member of this crew, and Evil Eye, the dynamic with that, I loved it.
Yeah. There was definitely like higher points this season for me than season 1. Like the Hunting Soul episode with the exorcism, that was amazing, and then the fight against the composers was amazing. So I think those high points in season 2 were higher for me than anything in season 1 except for the acrobatic Silky episode. So in that respect, like season 2 definitely like raised.
That was our review of Dandadan season 2. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like our content here on the Cultural Wave Media Network, remember to subscribe, like the video, and comment down below your thoughts on Dandadan Season 2. We want to have a discussion with you guys down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let's know. If you also like our content, check out our social medias. We have a lot of similar content on there. And check out our other videos. We're covering Peacemaker week by week. We're covering Gen V. We're covering so much other stuff. Darian just got done with Toronto Film Festival, so there will be a ton of cool reviews on those upcoming films. And that has been Vinny Albano.
I've been Mark Alcamino.
And so long.